In our lesson today, we are looking at the conversion of 3 digits bearing to compass bearing. In our previous video, we considered the conversion of compass bearing to 3 digits bearing. So here we have some examples that will help us convert 3 digits to compass bearing. Do well to check the previous video so that you can follow up. Alright, so let's see how we convert these angles to compass bearing. The first one we have 0, 10 degrees. No conversion is actually needed here. Any angle between 0 to 90 degrees, you do not need any conversion. So all you need to do is to add the cardinal points to it. So this 10 degrees can be located in the first quadrant here. Here is 10 degrees. So all I need to do is to add the cardinal points. Here is northeast because this direction is east. So simply write it as north 10 east. That's all. The same thing applies to 80 degrees. 80 degrees can be located somewhere around here because the more you go, the more it expands. So here is 80 degrees, and that is located on the northeast. This is the northeast. So we simply write the second one as what? North 80 east, not 80 degrees east. Now the third one is 150 degrees. The first we have to do is to draw the cardinal points. Having drawn the cardinal points, here is our north pole. Remember that 3 digits bearing take reference from the north pole to the direction it is going. So we have to move from this point, the north pole, clockwise direction to the second quadrant because 150 is in the second quadrant. How do I know? Angles that are bigger than 90 has entered the second quadrant. If the angle exceeds 180, it has entered the third quadrant. If it exceeds 270, it has entered the fourth quadrant. So 150 is within 180 and therefore should be in the second quadrant. So let's assume this to be here. Now this is, remember that here is south and here is what? East. So this pole in between south and east should be what? Southeast. Now the angle we are looking for in compass is the angle that takes reference with north pole or south pole. Having measured this angle, which is 150 degrees, what is the angle that will take reference with this southeast pole and the southern pole? That is the angle here. This is the angle we are looking for, right? So what angle should be here? Now since here is 150, that means here should be 60 because the first quadrant is 90. When I add 90 and 60, we obtain 150. Remember that each quadrant is measured at 90 degrees. So since here is 60, what angle should be here to complete it 90 degrees? That is what? 30 degrees. So the angle here is 30 degrees. Now to write it as a compass bearing, I would write it as south 30 east. South 30 degrees east because it is in between the south and the east. Okay, let's solve the next question. Draw your cardinal points. This is our north pole. 250 is above 180 degrees but within 270 degrees. Therefore, this will be in the third quadrant. Remember, any angle that exceeds 180 enters the third quadrant. So moving from the north pole, I'll go this way to the third quadrant. All right, I'll stop somewhere here. Draw your cardinal point. Remember that here is your south and here is your what? West. Remember that the compass bearing you are looking for is the angle that takes reference with the south pole or the north pole. Now, since we have this angle from here down to this point, can we get an angle that is taking reference with this south pole? That is this angle. That's what we are looking for. All right. So here is 250. Total angle from here to this pole. Remember, here is 90, 90. If I add 90 and 90, I have 180. So what angle can I add to 180 to have 250? Or you simply say 250 minus 180. That is, if I should take away this angle from here to here, I will have this angle from here to here. Remember, from this north pole down to this southeast pole, no, this is southwest, you have 250. So if I want to get the angle inside this little space, simply take away this angle from here to here. That is 180. From 250, you get the angle you are looking for. So that angle should be 70 degrees. When you subtract, you have 70 degrees. So we measure it as southwest because it is in between the south and the west. Let's consider the third one, the fourth one there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the fifth one. I have 320. Draw your cardinal point. 320 is above 270. So this angle will definitely enter the what? The fourth quadrant. We move from the north pole, this is our north pole, until we enter the fourth quadrant. Then draw your cardinal point. Here is the west. So this place should be northwest. The angle we are looking for is the angle that will take reference with the north pole and the northwest pole. That's the angle between these points, right? The angle must touch the north pole. So what angle will be here? Remember that the total angle from here to here is 320. All right, to find this angle here, this reference angle, theta, remember that total angle in a circle is 360 degrees. So to get this little space, let's take away this bigger angle, right? That is 360 minus 320. When I subtract, I have 40. Therefore, here is 40. So to write it as a compass bearing, that becomes not 40 degrees west. All right. So if you have understood what I did, what would this be and what would this be in compass bearing? Drop it in the comment section. I'll come back to check on it. Thank you so much for paying attention to the end of the class, and do well to like this video, share to your friends, follow for more interesting math tutorials. Bye.